Hi, everybody. Today's speaker is Sheriff Jeff Connor. He's a lifelong resident of Madison County and a 1980 graduate of Granite City High School. He received his associate's degree from SWIC, his bachelor's from Sterling College, his master's from Lindenwood University, all in criminal justice management, and is a graduate of the FBI National Academy Session 244. He and his wife, Elizabeth, will be married 40 years in August, and they have 3 children and soon to be 6 grandchildren. His one daughter is expecting this summer. Sheriff Connor has been a police officer for 37 years. His other community and professional service experiences include acting as board member of Calvary Life Church in Granite City, on the board of directors for the Southwest Illinois Law Enforcement Commission, on the board of directors for the Child Advocacy Center, being a member of the Illinois Sheriff's Association, being the vice chairman of the Major Case Squad of Greater St. Louis, as well as a member of the Southern Illinois Police Association. Sheriff Connor is also a member of the Illinois Police Association, the Madison County Police Association, and the International Homicide Investigation Association. He is a past criminal justice instructor at the Belleville Police Academy, a former board member for Coordinated Youth and Human Services, and most importantly, a former Rotarian in the Granite City Club. Please join me in welcoming Sheriff Jeff Connor.
My wife wrote that, so I had to throw in the 40 years of marriage. First of all, it's an honor to be here. It's an honor. Some of the people I know, and Chris marked me down a case of citrus for Ellen. And she just wanted me to kind of tell who I am, how I got to where I'm at, and what a little bit more about the sheriff's office. So I became a police officer in Granite City in 1986. Had no plans on being a police officer until somebody from my church came up to me, and he was a police officer and asked me if I would apply, and I did, and it led to me becoming a Granite City police officer. And I stayed there for almost 29 years, worked my way up to the assistant chief of police, and retired in 2014. During my career, one of the side positions that I really am proud of is I became a member of the Major Case Squad of Greater St. Louis. I did that in 1990 and worked my way to be actually the commander over the squad until I became sheriff, and I had to give up that position. And then they made me the vice chairman of the board. During those years on the Major Case Squad, I was the commander over 25 homicides in the region. And if you're familiar with the Major Case Squad, those are normally the whodunit. It isn't the domestic where the person calls and says, I just killed my spouse. This is where you find like the elderly couple here in Edwardsville that I commanded that case. Those are the type of cases that the squad is activated on. And to give you just a little bit about the squad, since 1965, they have a clearance rate of over 80%. And to compare that, St. Louis is probably in the 40 to 45% range. So that's something that we're very proud of with the Major Case Squad. So in 2014, then Sheriff John Lakin asked me to be his chief deputy. And I made a decision, and I retired from Granite City and became the chief deputy of the sheriff's office. The chief deputy is the same thing as the assistant sheriff. It's the number 2 person in charge. And for the next 8 years, I worked in that position. And unbeknownst to me, Sheriff Lakin decided not to run for his 3rd term. And it put us into a decision-making time where we decided, and I say we, me and my family, because we did it together, we decided to run for sheriff. And that led to me being sworn in as the 47th sheriff just this past December 1st. So these are 4-year terms, so you're stuck with me for at least 4 years, and we'll see what the future holds. So for those who don't know about the sheriff's office, I just want to talk a little bit about what we are, who we are. The sheriff's office, Madison County Sheriff's Office, actually started in 1812. And currently, the Madison County has a population of around 267,000 people. As the sheriff, you have to consider that you're servicing all 267,000 people. Now, each city has their own municipal police department. But as a sheriff, we go into those cities, whether it is to serve papers, civil papers, or to assist these other agencies whenever they need assistance. So we have a very large department. We're actually the largest police department, police agencies south of Springfield. And currently we have 174 employees in our department. Now, all of them are not police officers. Out of that 174, we have 85 that are sworn deputies that can make arrests. All of our employees are sworn because you get sworn in from the sheriff, but we have 85 that are sworn that have been through the police academy and have the ability to make arrests. Some of the divisions that we have, to give you a little bit more layout of what we do, is one of our biggest duties is the jail. And the jail is no small venture. We currently, as of today, I believe we had 261 inmates that are in the walls of our jail. Some of them may be there for years. A lot of people don't realize that. Whenever someone gets arrested, they eventually make their way to our jail. If it's a serious crime, if it's a murder, they may continue, those people may continue that case. And it could be, we recently had somebody who went to trial and he had been sitting there for 6 years in our jail. So during that time, we're feeding them, housing them. Does anybody know what another high cost is for somebody? Healthcare. All of us are paying for the healthcare. And that's a tough thing to do. We have 4 full-time in our nursing staff. We're looking to increase that to 5. We have 4 full-time cooks. And there's just a lot that goes back there. Because he's here in the room today, Chris Milton, Ellen's husband, is in facilities at the county. And if you want to have a one-on-one conversation with him, he will tell you that it is a constant call of issues in our facility with the maintenance. So recently there was a lot in the media about the project at the county jail where there were several $1 million spent. All that money was spent to upgrade the jail. We didn't increase 1 bed. Actually, I think we actually lost a couple beds because we had to combine some rooms in that. So that's the type of things that we have to manage day in and day out. That's just on the jail side. We also answer calls. The calls for service, any unincorporated area in Madison County, we respond to. So we could be in the unincorporated area of Madison and get called to outside of Highland. And on a good day with no traffic, that may take 35, 40 minutes. And these officers sometimes are doing that lights and siren the whole time, which puts a lot of people in jeopardy. But that's the type of area that we cover. We have all of Godfrey. We're actually Godfrey's police department. They contracted with the sheriff's office many years ago, and we are their police agency in Godfrey. The investigations unit, we have around 14 investigators, and some of them are allocated in different areas. We have a full-time investigator with DCFS. And DCFS pays 100% of that person's salary. And he does nothing but works with DCFS to ensure their safety whenever they go out to houses. We have our own administration. Then the other big issue we have is the courthouse. There's multiple courthouses in Madison County. We are their security, the security of the buildings. We maintain those buildings. And we have deputies that are in what we call the administration building next to the old courthouse. And then we have the CJC, which is the Criminal Justice Center. And we have deputies that are there anytime the courts are open, they have to be there. They monitor metal detectors, they screen everybody that comes in, and they just ensure the safety of the people that are in and out of the courthouses. Another part of policing is dispatching. We have 14 full-time dispatchers. And they handle all the dispatching for all of our department, but they also handle the dispatching for, like we talked about, Godfrey, and for Highland. We recently took on Highland because of the state law is causing everybody to consolidate their dispatch centers and trying to lower the number of dispatch centers. So we took on Highland, approached this, and they're paying for a couple dispatchers. and we do all their dispatching now. And when we say dispatching, it isn't just police, it's also EMS and fire. We talked about the jail. There's 60 jailers that work back there. But to give you an idea of the influx of people that come through there, last year we booked nearly 5,000 people. So each of those people had to come in and be interviewed by a booking clerk, which takes a long time to get all the pertinent information. They have to be photographed and they have to be fingerprinted. Then you submit the fingerprints based upon whatever charge that they're brought in. The other thing that we want to talk about before we open it for questions is, since I became sheriff, just a little bit of what we've done as a new administration. Some of the things that we did, originally we just wanted to adjust our image to make it a little bit more comfortable for people to talk to us. A lot of people are shy away from whenever they see a badge. So we did some simple things that have really got the community involvement. We changed the way our cars look. I know to you that maybe sounds something really simple, but the version had been since the 1970s, and we went to a more modern look. Another thing we did, and once again, to people who don't have this type of policy, it may seem like nothing to you, but to our men and well, this one would be the men, is we lifted the facial hair policy. You cannot believe how that affected the morale on our department, where these guys can now have a no shave November and year round, and the community loves it. And we did a little game, a little twist to it. When we took office, we said, okay, you could have a no shave November, but you raise money and then get your own little groups together. And then at the end of it, we set a time period. We'll see how much money you raise per capita per each group. And when we got done with that, they had raised over $16,000 for charity. So we were able to go Toys for Tots and some other charitable organizations. So at the last day when we were having the announcement, we brought up all the groups and we took the ones that had not made as much money and not given as much money. I said, well, right here, we're all in a big room. There's about 150 of us. If you can raise X amount of dollars right now, we'll make it department wide. And in that about next 15 minutes, they raised $750 more. So it's really a no cost, but it really helped the morale, helped the community, and we were able to give back to several of the charities. We adjusted our take-home car policy. You may think, oh, that's just a privilege you get to do that. Well, what happens is when you take that car home and you're able to go to the grocery store in an unmarked car, you've got the radio going, and now you have more eyes and ears of what's going on in the community. And so we make sure that our deputies, that if they are taking their car home for personal use, that they have the radio on, they're prepared to respond if there's a need. And we've got multiple documented cases already where this has helped out and helped capture some people that have just recently committed crime. So it's all part of trying to get more eyes and ears out there for the community. We also made, once again, may seem like a simple thing, a non-issue, but to us is we changed our uniform. We had historically with sheriffs are brown or green, but we had the dark brown shirts and the tan pants. Once again, it sounds like it's trivial, but we couldn't find the stock of the brown shirts. So I went to St. Louis County Police, who have just the reverse, and there's all kinds of stock available for these new shirts. And again, it just helped the morale with our department. So we're in the process of switching that. And at the same time, what we're going to do is we're going to allow the outer vest. And if you see those, there's a reason for that outer vest. It isn't to make them look better, but it's to help our officers, because it takes the weight off of their belt, because their belt may be 30, 35 pounds. We all know what the doctor wants you to do is lose weight around the belt. Well, we have metal that's holding their weight down on the belt. And now we've put it onto the shoulders and the back, and it just helps out. We're hoping that it helps out with some of the back issues of our officers. We're also changing the signage. There's no sign on the building of where we're at. So if you're coming to bail out a loved one, we've always had issues. People didn't know where we were located. So we're doing some little things like that. Couple other things that we're really excited about is we are two months away from having a therapy dog inside our jail. This will be assigned to a deputy jailer. And this dog is for two purposes. One, it's for the employees, but the other one is for the inmates. We want to humanize the inmates. Like I said, they may be back there for a couple of years. So we want to humanize them. And whenever you do that, you lower the incidence of rebellion. And that also lowers the incidence of injuries. And it's just all around is just a good thing for the environment of the jail back there. We're always looking at ways to improve the mental health of our inmates, but also our employees. We started a involvement in the Big Brothers Big Sister, and we've already had one that's been assigned, a deputy that's assigned to a child, and we're getting a lot of good feedback from that. And we hope to expand our involvement in that. We're also doing a PR team that's going to be tasked for doing nothing but PR throughout the whole county. So if you do have an event that you would like the sheriff's deputy present, reach out to us, reach out to me, and we'll make sure that happens. And we have a lot of equipment that we can use for like a touch a truck and that. We have our Bearcat, which is an armored vehicle. We have ATVs, UTVs, the drone. We could do some drone for the kids and that, showing them how that works. And one of the last things that we're close to rolling out is a sheriff app. And what that is, it's actually, the company's actually called the Sheriff app. So what it is you can download the app, and then it has push notifications. So you don't have to have Twitter, Facebook, MyFace, whatever the other ones are. There's so many different ones. You don't have to have those to see what we're doing. All you have to do is download the app and allow push notifications. And that's just one part of it. So if there's an accident on 270 and has westbound closed, it's going to tell anybody who has that app. So before you even get stuck on that traffic, if you're heading across the river, we're hoping to be able to notify you, because those dispatchers that we talked about will have access to send out the notifications as soon as something happens. And that's just one little part of the app. We have jail information. So if you want to see if a loved one is in jail, you'll be able to access that. We're also going to include the National Weather Service. So whenever there's tornado or thunderstorm warnings, it'll push that out. Road closures. If there's for pavement or whatever, when we get notified, we're going to push it out on the app. There's resource maps for hospitals and police agencies and fire agencies. If you're in an area in the county and you need to find it, that's just an easy way of doing it. Sex offender registration will be on there, so you can pull up the map of where you live and see if there's any that live around you. So those are just some of the things that we're doing. And I know I'm taking a little bit more time, but if you have any questions, I can stop right there. Yes, sir.
The other day I was driving through town and I saw this big impressive RV. It said, I believe, mobile command unit. Is that something that's a county vehicle?
It's the emergency management has one through the county that we have access to. So anytime there's a large scale presence for emergency, like the Amazon warehouse, we immediately called EMA, emergency management, and they drove that there. And that becomes the command post for either the fire or the police. And we both utilize it. The fire agencies and the police agencies utilize that.
Edwardsville has a citizen police academy, and I was wondering whether the sheriff's department is considered.
We are considering that. And once things kind of settle down with the administration, since we just took over in December, that's one of the hopefully within the next year, we can develop that program. And we're excited for that, because we've never done that. I've been part of a lot of citizens academies. I've spoken at many of them across the whole region. And it's really a great way to get the community involved, and they educate. That may be like a 10-week program where once a week you go and you're actually partially trained to be a police officer, but you get to see it. So yes, we are hoping to do that. Yes, sir.
You mentioned you had 84 deputies for the size of our county. I know I may say, is that a sufficient number? The county grows, or is there formula to add as population increases?
It's enough for what we have right now, but we could always use more. It would be politically correct answer. We could always use more, but we are able to do our job with that amount. But we would be able to do what I feel is a better job, but the money, it's just so hard to do that. Now, when we have, we, at any given time, we have a minimum 6 deputies on the road. 2 of them are in Godfrey all the time, and then the minimum would be 4 the rest of the county. It's normally more than that, but that is the bare minimum whenever you're forcing people out to make the cover. Spam. 312 is how many beds that we have. I can tell you that about 2 years ago, we had 375. This was a time whenever the state shut down intake for the Illinois Department of Corrections. So just picture a bathtub that the water keeps coming in, but there's no drain. And then you've got that relief valve where you're supposed to lower it. It gets to that point and that relief valve gets clogged. And that's what was happening to us. And we had, at one time, we had 65 inmates that were sentenced to prison that the state would not take. So we were, for lack of better words, we were stuck with them. And we can't just let them walk out. So we're working with facilities of trying to come up with makeshift places to stay, putting cots on the floor and doing whatever we could, and working with the courts to try to get some of the low-hanging fruit out of there, even though we don't like to do that, but sometimes you have to do that to maintain the security of the facility. Yes, sir.
Could you comment a little more on the dispatch consolidation status, how it's working for you and what next?
It's in litigation right now because the Madison County took the stance that you're eventually wanting to go down to 1 or 2 what they call PSAPs. And our county is not designed because we have so many municipalities that are larger municipalities. And for the rural areas, it works. But for us, you're putting an employee in a dispatch center that's answering a call from 60 miles away, and they say, oh, it's at Bulldog Park. Well, then nobody knows. That's why it's nice to have the employees from that region. But so the litigation is still there, trying to change the law to not lower it to that amount. It went from 16 to 8, and I don't know what the numbers are right now, but I think we're around 13 or 14 right now. So there's still some talk of some of these PSAPs consolidating. They're still actively talking about that. And we're not going to stop a consolidation. We're just trying to prolong the requirement that you have to consolidate. Yes, ma'am. We are hoping in 4 to 6 weeks, and we will do we'll put something out on our Facebook page and do a press release and try to get the word out as much as possible. It's already been configured. It's already in Apple and Google. All that's done. We're just trying to get the final touches of what they require from us. So yeah, 4 to 6 weeks. Yes, sir.
Why will be able to find friends and loved ones quicker? I all the time find my wife.
She put you on the 10 most wanted. Yes. Anybody else? All right. Thank you very much.